Okay, so I really wanted to do a brief podcast, basically because it's Christmas Day that I'm recording this, essentially about three things. First of all, we all know what Christmas is meant to be about, what most people associate it with, or what it originates from. It's the nativity, with Jesus and what have you. Whether you're religious or not, it's the nativity, and I just thought it was, first of all, kind of ironic, or at least I should make a connection between my film company, Native Nomad Pictures, which of course has the word native, and then there's nativity. Of course, they're kind of connected. That was the first thing. I will also mention that I've kind of got two sides to what I do. One is the filmmaking, which is Native Nomad Pictures. One is the writing, which is mini-movie.com, or mini-movies on Twitter and Instagram. But the other two things I wanted to mention was, first of all, I'm actually broadcasting this from Canterbury in Kent. One of my family members lives here, and it brought me to thinking, well, before I came here at all today actually, that quite a few foreigners come to this country, including Koreans, of course, many that I know. And, one of the places they often venture to is Canterbury because of its historic city, historic sort of town square-like buildings and everything there. And it's associated with Chaucer. He's the famous writer. And so people come here. So I really wanted to just mention that it's one of those places that people tick off their list when they come to this country, even if people who are resident here and born here don't necessarily go to. It's a bit like Stonehenge, Cotswolds, Bath, all these places, Brighton. Sometimes people don't go there. It depends where you live in the country, of course. Especially if you live in London, or if you're staying in London as a foreigner, these places you kind of go to, tick off your list. So I really wanted to make that connection. And the last thing, the second point regarding Canterbury and Koreans and foreigners, is that, really about Christmas Day, to be honest. People, it can be quite a lonely existence sometimes on Christmas Day when you're a foreigner in London or England. Everyone goes off to their families. Some people go away. You might have a few people that you know, a small group, and in that case you'll sort of stay with them. Occasionally there's people that don't have anybody. So just using my Korean friends, for example, one or two, they get asked to come along on Christmas Day because that's going to be their sort of centerpiece for the festive season. Rather than sit alone in your flat or apartment or house, it's nice to actually spend Christmas with somebody. Maybe you're in another city, you're in another place. That said, I spoke to another Korean friend the other night who she does sometimes stay in London on Christmas, and it's quite funny because she can go to the South Bank, Waterloo, or anywhere like that in London, and you'd think it'd be quiet, be nobody there, or at least families and who've come to London. But there's people that don't celebrate Christmas in that way, maybe Jewish or a Muslim or whatever sort of religious side they're on. They don't necessarily do that. So London is just like a normal day for them. So they might even use that to their advantage and spend the time walking along the Thames, or going to tourist attractions, or just being out. That's why that's partly why a lot of these businesses, coffee places, and other venues, stay open on Christmas Day as well. It's it doesn't, not everything shuts down like it used to in this country. It might feel like the opposite at the moment. I'm currently with family in Canterbury, and it's it might feel like the world has shut down, but it's not like that. But it's just an interesting way to see things from, or at least to look at it from another side. It's always worth doing that with everything, but it's not always easy. Apologies if I've got a bit of a croaky throat, tired, had my Christmas dinner, had a little bit of Christmas spirit, a little bit of wine, the usual sort of excess with eating, which I'm sure that's going to continue. It's now sort of 7:30 in the evening, but I'm sure there'll be a bit more of that before we all slump into our seats, armchairs, sofas, beds. So yeah, I just wanted to put this out on Christmas Day with those three main connections. And also talking about loneliness, I will speak about loneliness of being, the potential loneliness of being a foreigner in another country. And I'm thinking, for example, people say that about living in Korea as an expat or a foreigner. I don't necessarily agree that it's always a lonely existence. In fact, that's part of the reasons for why I want to make a brief podcast about that as well, about is it lonely or not. And of course that's with me being a visitor there several times and not living there, but you sometimes know, yes or no, whether it would be. But anyway, I'll touch on that in another episode. For now, I'll just sort of it's quite a short podcast. I just wanted to get this out there while I think about it. I really wanted to do a Christmas Day recording, and so I will talk to you all again soon. And just remember to, if you can, look on SoundCloud, look on YouTube, look on, what are the other two places? I've completely gone blank. Spreaker, Spreaker, and on iTunes. And if you just search Jason Verney, you should find pretty much the same podcast, but every now and again I might throw in a different one there on one of the different formats, or just put a sort of a sample episode. I'll probably try and let people know as well. And of course you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and the usual places. I'll leave it at that. I'll say goodbye, festive greetings, season's greetings, and I hope you all have a great day, even if you do listen to this at a later date, which is most likely. Okay, I'll say goodbye.